Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to Bullony Basketball. Here with my guy, John from ClutchTalk. How's it going, my man?
What's going on, my dog? Happy to be back, man. Baloney basketball. Y'all know what it is, man. Happy to be here. Clutch Talk Lakers Corner. Check me out, man.
Yes, sir. I think it's going to be a great episode today. The season is officially started. We've seen the opening night games. We're recording this on day two. So far, all that we know are the two most storied franchises, the Lakers and the Celtics, starting the season 1-0. Obviously, you being a Laker fan, kind of tell me like what were your thoughts from just opening night in general, and maybe like what to expect moving forward for the season with any team.
Okay.
It could be with your Lakers or any team.
Okay. So I'll start off. We're gonna talk about opening night. I'll start off first with the first game we seen, which was the Knicks and Celtics game. Banner night for the Celtics. That's dope. You know they you knew they were going to bring the energy. So I was expecting that, but what I wasn't expecting was the lack of energy from the Knicks because if you are coming into an opponent's banner night, right, and you just came off a huge offseason, right? You bring Mikal Bridges, you bring Karl Anthony Towns, like after you just had a great season last season, and you have a huge offseason. Now you have a chance to just ruin the champs banner night, but it doesn't happen like that. The Knicks literally couldn't hit anything. They were like 1 of 7 from the 3-point line early. Nobody scored more than like 5 points in that first quarter. Karl Anthony Towns looked all out of sync, all out of order. I mean, in the beginning of the game, in that first quarter, I was so mind boggled to see Drew Holiday guarding him and him still deciding to play on the perimeter. But I mean, I'm not going to judge the Knicks all off that one game, right? They got a lot to figure out. Mikal's got his jumper to figure out, but on the other end, I mean, Tatum absolutely goes off, and the Celtics hit a record tying like NBA record 3-pointer. So I mean, you can't really beat that. But about the Lakers, right? This is what we really could get into here because I saw a lot of good. I saw some negative, but I saw a lot of good. And I think the first thing that I want to highlight is JJ Redick, man, because I'm gonna be honest, like I've been a fan of JJ really, to be honest with you, since 2018, like before the Mind the Game, before the Old Man of the Three, when it was literally just JJ Redick and Tommy Alter, like that when that was the name of the podcast. And I've always known he was like a smart guy, but and then when he came into coaching, I was like, all right, well, like I know there definitely will be a learning curve, but I think he'll be elite X's and O's. And man, like this game right here was just showed that he has that elite X's and O's. He has the ability to coach on the fly. Like from one game, just this one game this regular season to last season, you could just see the vast difference between Darvin Ham and JJ Redick. I'm talking about from rotations. I'm talking about the timeout calling. I'm talking about to being able to break a zone. Like I've never seen the Lakers so easily break a zone. And because with Darvin Ham, if a team ran a zone on us, they would just be absolutely screwed. But as far as like the game, we had some great energy. Anthony Davis, I'm going to speak volumes of him, man. 36 points, 16 rebounds, 4 assists, 3 blocks, all on one foul, which is insane to me. Man, Anthony Davis, he just did a little bit of everything tonight. I saw him hitting threes, getting to the hoop, midi, defense to offense, and then the Lakers just all around brought it. But, I mean, hey, man, early in the season, I'm ready to get the season started. But what was your thoughts, brother?
Yeah, I mean, mostly kind of similar thoughts to you. I think for one, the Knicks didn't play all that well. They actually started off shooting the ball pretty decent. It's just that their defense wasn't great. And that's kind of like one of my biggest concerns with them is that they have a lot of pressure on Cat being a defensive-minded big when he's so used to, spacing the floor, which he even said, like, he wanted to do that so much the other day. And I mean, it's going to take time, but I feel like it's a lot to put on him, especially when you don't really have many reliable bigs behind him either. I mean, I think the Celtics looked pretty good. And then just from the other game as well, like with the Lakers and the Timberwolves, I think the Timberwolves have a lot to figure out as well. But I even said, like, I feel like that Timberwolves Knicks, and it's so funny how they both play on opening night. Like I felt like it was just like a lose-lose trade in a way. Like I feel like both teams aren't going to be quite as good as they were. It's not necessarily like they're out of the picture, but I just don't see it working quite as well for either of them. And then with the Lakers, I mean, you kind of hit on most of it. I think also just to allude to like AD, I think, if this is a season where he's playing compatible with the likes of like a Giannis and AD, like those top tier players, Luka, and he's healthy, and if he can go like kind of eye for eye with them in like big game moments, like then I think they, could have a chance. Like I think he has done that for a majority of the time the last few years, but then like once it comes like push comes to shove against like Jokic or something like that, like just hasn't. He's been great, he's been pretty good, but it just hasn't been enough when you need it most. So that's kind of like my biggest thing. I guess we'll see what happens, but and even with that, like kind of talking about like like the health thing. I know I don't have it on here, but like just going into the season, like there's just like a lot of weird, mysterious injuries already. Like we already know Kawhi, like he's out right now. Now we get the Embiid stuff, and then Zion's not playing tonight. Like, so I don't even know. Like it's just already.
It's weird. And the Kawhi thing, that's really weird to me, because to me it's like, didn't he withdraw from Team USA to prevent injury so that he can be ready for this time come year? And now it's here and he's still not ready, even though he withdrawed from Team USA. But real quick, before we move on from the Lakers, this is the one thing I gotta say is, I said that at the beginning when I started talking about the Lakers, I was like, there's a lot of things that I like, the intensity, Anthony Davis, I think Hayes was solid off the bench or whatnot. But the one thing I hated was, and I'm not saying I hate Bronny, but what I hated was the whole thing that they made it all about Bronny and LeBron. Like that was the one thing. And it's, and don't get me wrong, it's beautiful, amazing history in the making, dope. I love to see it. But now we're talking regular season. Like every game matters. And I'm not trying to, this isn't Keeping Up with the James family. So when he checked in, the Timberwolves literally went on a 7-0 run because the Lakers were so worried about trying to get LeBron and him to have like an assist and a bucket. And I'm just like, bro, like this is not what this is for. So that's the one thing I really didn't like.
Yeah, especially doing that against a team that, I mean, like the Timberwolves still have a lot to figure out, but like against a team like that, like,
yeah,
do it against like the Wizards.
Yeah, do it in the pre. That should have been done and kept in the preseason.
Well,
to
right.
be honest,
I mean, like I'm saying, if they want to do it in like an actual game, like the Wizards, the Trailblazers, like there's teams down there that are more worthy than a Western Conference Finals team. So
absolutely, I agree, brother.
But yeah, we can progress here. We can talk about this next topic. I think it'll be fun. 3 bold predictions for the season. Could be team related, could be player related. And I guess I'll ask you like what are your 3, and then I'll react to yours, and then I'll tell you my 3, and you can react to mine a little bit.
Okay, my first one is I'm the more I think on it, I don't know how much of I guess bold prediction it is, but I just feel very, very strongly about it. But I think that the Magic will finish as a top 3 seed this year.
Can I interrupt you real quick?
Yes.
That was also my first bold prediction. It was literally the same
crazy.
Thing. But I also added something onto it. I said that they'll be the 3rd seed and win a playoff series. But you can continue there. That. You can even give your thoughts on that. And then, sorry, continue.
I don't know. I mean, play. It's just going to depend, because I mean, I feel like playoff basketball is all about just like matchups and who you end up getting. So it's that's hard to say, but I mean, there's a lot of teams that they match up very well against, because when we're talking about matchups, bro, the defense on this team, like I keep giving praise to Oklahoma City Thunder for having that backcourt of Lou Dort, Alex Caruso, Shea, and J-Dub, and then they even have a good defense in the front court. But bro, the Magic, they have an insane. They might be able to go up against the Celtics and the Knicks as far as like having one of the best defensive starting 5 lineups who can almost switch 1 through 5, to be honest with you. Wendell, I wouldn't say he can keep up with every guard in this league, but he's not a Rudy Gobert. It's not an island work when you get Wendell out there. So Magic, to me, man, they're gonna be they're gonna absolutely, for me, be a top seed. And what to you, made you say that?
I just feel like kind of the same thing. I think last year was their year that they broke into the playoffs. I feel like they are going to get better. They have I think a really good coach in Jamal Mosley. I'm high on him. And I feel like just their young guys are going to get a lot better. It's a little bit more defined as well. You had a guy like KCP who will play a role. He won't need to do like a whole lot. And I know they really struggled in the preseason, but I still feel like they, I don't know. I just feel like they're going to be a pretty solid team that's, especially in the regular season, going to win a lot of games, especially when you consider these other teams that will still be maybe fighting for a championship, maybe won't take the regular season as seriously. So, but I also do think they will win a playoff series. So
I like that.
I think they'll try to, use last year as a little motivation.
I like that. All right, you ready for my second bold take, brother?
Yes, sir.
My second bold take is I think the Kings are actually going to take a step back from where they were going. And I know a lot of people may be like, what in the world do you mean by that? And here's what I mean. So the Kings, they were, in my opinion, on a trajectory. Like they were going like this. They were getting better and better and better every single year with, Keegan Murray was starting to get more shots. He was starting to get more comfortable. That team was starting to get continuity. That's something that's really slept on in today's league is continuity, just year after year playing with each other. But then now they bring in DeMar DeRozan. And this isn't just bringing in DeMar DeRozan. You brought in DeMar DeRozan. You took out Harrison Barnes, who was a great shooter to have on that team, a great vet to have on that team. And don't get me wrong, player to player, like apples to apples, yeah, I'm taking DeMar DeRozan over Harrison Barnes every single day of the week, even on Sundays. But the thing is that I don't think for the system that the Sacramento Kings have and the system that they were running last season, I'm not to say that they can't change the system, which is if they do, it will make them take a step back. But the system that they had last season, it's predicated on a lot of DHOs, a lot of Sabonis I would say a little bit in from the 3-point line, running DHOs with De'Aaron Fox, running handoffs with De'Aaron Fox. De'Aaron Fox will come off and he'll get to kind of gets to that extended elbow. And that's kind of where DeMar's area is. That's kind of where DeMar's little midi, that's where he wants to get to. So in my opinion, I think that what the Kings had last year is they had a gang of shooters around Fox, around Sabonis, to where Fox is flying off this screen. He's flying off this DHO coming downhill, and he's forcing people to make a decision of like, I'm either getting to the cup, or I'm kicking it out to my shooters around me. I'm not saying that DeMar DeRozan is Ben Simmons, but DeMar DeRozan does not want to be taking that 3-point shot consistently. We've seen that throughout his career. I'm not saying he can't. I'm sure if he gets in I'm sure he gets in the gym and he shoots threes, he has a great clip, but he's more comfortable. And what he likes to do is taking that step in. And I just think the spacing is just going to be a little bit congested. And when I say this, I don't want people to think that I'm saying, oh, this team's going to be absolute failure because they have freaking Mike Brown. Mike Brown's a good coach. He's not going to sit on his ass and say, oh, you know what? This guy, John's got us all figured out. Like he's going to change. I think he's going to have to change his offense. Is going to have to change what what they were previously doing. But that's why my take is I think they're going to take a step back from where they were going because of all that. You're going to have to change your offense. You're going to have to play a little bit different, which might make you to take a step back. And I in my opinion, this derailed the progression of Keegan Murray. Like DeMar DeRozan is great player, but he's going to get shots, and those shots are going to come off of Keegan Murray. So that's where I'm at with that. How you feel about that? Crazy or no?
It's funny you say that because you know what? I'll count this maybe as like my first real bold prediction because we had the same one for Orlando. Okay. But even in my episode last week, I actually had the Kings as a top 3 seed.
Wow.
And the reason I have them there is because you look at the team last year, and I really feel like, I mean, I don't know if you would agree or not, but I feel like if Malik Monk didn't get hurt last season, they would have been a top 6 seed. I think they would have got above the play-in, and then they got a little unfortunate there after that. I think they were probably poised to get that last spot over the Suns, over I think the Pelicans were in that mix and stuff like that. But I just feel like they're going to be even better because you add a guy like DeRozan, who's relatively healthy, in the regular season for the most part of his career. A guy like Fox, who I would say, aside from maybe like his early years, has been relatively healthy for the most part. These are two of the guys who are up there in Clutch Player of the Year a lot, and so they're going to win a lot of close games when they're both out there. So I feel like last year it felt really weird because Fox was still good in the clutch, but it feels like he didn't really have that same clutch impact. It honestly, some games it felt like Malik Monk was more so of that. But now you have options that you can go to in those situations. And I feel like those close games, they might have one of the better records in the regular season in close games like that. And so because of that, I think it's going to give them maybe like another half dozen wins that they probably didn't have last season. And I mean, really, they were close as it is. Like, I know they missed the playoffs, but we can't forget they won 47 games last year. It seems like a disappointment, but like that's still a pretty good season. And had they won 6 more games, they would have been sitting at like 4th. So I don't know.
Hey man, I hear you, brother. Honestly, that's a really good take with Malik Monk. I'm gonna be honest. I'm just excited to see how they're gonna make it work because it just in my opinion, like you just cannot keep doing. And sorry if it got super dark, my ring light just turned off on me. I don't know why, but they just can't do what they did last season and it worked. Or maybe they can, and I'll be proven wrong. I'd love to get proven wrong because the Kings are freaking like 45 minutes from right here. I'd love to go watch and play and win some games. So hopefully I am wrong, but that's just my take.
Yeah. While we're at it too, since you've given technically 2, I've given 1. I'll give my second, and then we can each give our third.
Yes.
How's that?
I love that.
So my second one, I don't even feel like it's really that bold of a prediction at this point now. But it felt bold maybe a few days ago. But we'll see now. So my bold prediction is that Paul George and or Joel Embiid will miss more than half the games this regular season, meaning they will play 40 games or less. One of them. Or both of them, but I'm saying at least one of them. So,
wow, man,
yeah,
that's bro. I'm gonna be honest with you. For whatever reason, I felt fooled this season. I was like, man, I think they might stay healthy, but bro, when both of them were out, I'm like, man, this is crazy. And so I'm gonna be honest with you, bro. Like, I hate being like, yeah, like that, like that's gonna happen, but. I mean, if I had to be a betting man,
yeah,
I just don't see. There's nothing in the past that tells me that they will be there. They will be healthy. So, I mean, I unfortunately have to agree with your take. To be honest with you, brother,
it's just unfortunate. It seems like it's been the theme the last few years with these guys, and one of them is bound to have an injury like that sidelines them, but. If you want, though, you can get into your final bold prediction. Let's see where you're going with this.
All right, my final prediction, and this one I'm not gonna lie, I don't even necessarily know how much how much I believe in this one because this is very very early, but I think that I guess results wise. The Pacers are going to are also going to take a step back this season. Like they're not going to do what they did this last season. I think a lot of teams in the East improved, and I don't see them taking that next step because that next step would be going on being able to compete with the top dogs in the East, and the top dogs in the East being the Celtics, and I just don't see I don't see that happening. So but then again, I feel like a lot of people are going to look back on this and be like, damn, you look stupid because they went crazy. And I hope they do go crazy because I got Tyrese Halliburton in my fantasy basketball. So yeah, I guess that'll be my last one.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's fair. I mean, them getting to the conference finals last year, like, while part of it was them taking advantage of what was given to them, like, it was, also a lot of luck along the way. I don't think people would have taken them to beat Milwaukee if the Bucks were healthy. And maybe even not the Knicks, because the Knicks got the Knicks got injured near the end of the year too. So I don't know. My last one though, and I'm interested to see what you'll say about this one. But my last one, it revolves around the Phoenix Suns.
Oh, I
And
was thinking of doing one with the Suns. So I want to hear what this is.
my hot take is that before the turn of the new year, so before January 1st of 2025,
Okay.
I think Bradley Beal will be moved to the sixth man on the team.
Okay. On the sixth man of the team. Okay. Let me.
Yes.
I need a vision. I need to see this roster right here because I know they got KD, Book,
So I know their
Tyus.
starting lineup right now. I think it's planned to be Tyus Jones, Beal, D Book, Durant, and Nurkic. I think he's moving to the bench, and they might start like
Grayson. So because right now it's Tyus, Book, Beal, KD, and Yusuf. So what are you saying?
I mean, they could probably just put Royce O'Neal in there or something like that, like and slide Durant to the 3. But I just feel like it doesn't make sense to have Beal start. Like Beal starting is such a bad idea in my opinion because it limits what he's good at, and a lot of his strengths are a lot of Devin Booker's strengths. The only problem is that Devin Booker doesn't better right now than Bradley Beal. Maybe if we were talking like a few years ago, then Bradley Beal would have the better strengths. But it's 2024, like he doesn't. So I feel like if you had him come off the bench, he might be the sixth man of the year. But I feel like if him starting alongside those guys, his like purpose seems a little redundant. You know what I mean? So I think that's their and I do think that'll happen. Like you could say, well, Mike Budenholzer won't figure that out because Frank Vogel didn't figure it out, and Monty Williams can figure out what we had before that. And yeah, but like I think after a while, like they're gonna have to try something new. You know what I mean? If things aren't working, I think they'll be a middle of the pack team, but maybe not where they want to be. I think they'll have to make that. They'll have to have that conversation with him. To be honest.
Yeah. Now looking at it, it definitely does make sense because their bench. I mean, Bradley Beal's on that bench squad. Their bench is Grayson Allen, Royce O'Neal, and Mason Plumlee. So yeah, I agree. Probably slide Grayson in there to start as a shooter. Always great to have shooters around players like KD and Devin Booker, who's like, it's almost given that they're going to blow by their primary defender. Like that's almost a given. They're not even looking at the person in front of them. They're looking at the help defense. So it's always good to have shooters around that. So that's a good take. Honestly, I wouldn't even say it's a bold take. I'd say it's a good take, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I mean we'll see what happens, but yeah, I think those are some pretty good bold predictions that we both got there for the season. Now, if you want, we can go on to another topic that's dealing with the number 3. And it's a little mini game type of thing, not like the mini game of the show, but it is a little mini game, and it's a 3 words or less game. So I'm gonna give you a team or a player or something NBA related, and then in 3 words you have to describe maybe like what's gonna happen this season with the team, the player, or whatever, or just like how it'll be remembered or something like that. Okay.
Okay.
So I'll start off with the Cleveland Cavaliers. And there's 5 of them in this thing, by the way. So the first one is the Cleveland Cavaliers. 3 words or less. What are you thinking?
Cleveland Cavaliers, 3 words or less. Same disappointment.
Same disappointment. Crazy. Okay. I feel that. So I guess you think it'll kind of be like the same result.
I think it'll be up. It'll be like, wow, like look at the Cavs. Cause like, man, I'm all bought into the Cavs, but I just, I don't think that their next step is being a contender. And I don't see what move's going to happen for them to be a contender. Unfortunately, I don't think they're going to have to somehow, some way either bring someone else in or restart it when D. Mitch leaves, which he just resigned, which I was surprised he resigned. I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah, that is an interesting one. I mean, I do think there's definitely like kind of a hole there at small forward. That's the biggest thing.
Mm-hmm.
I do think though for this season they have a solid chance. I think people probably wouldn't take them over the Celtics or the Bucks, but I feel like with the latest move the Knicks made, the Sixers, their injury situation, I still think they are better than Orlando, even though Orlando's going to get better. I think head-to-head they could probably win that. And I think they're better than the Pacers. So, I mean, like, realistically, I think they could be the third best team in the East. So if they get the right matchup, they could reach new heights. And that's why I picked that as my 3 words, is reaching new heights. Because last year, not last year, 2 years ago, when they lost to the Knicks in the first round, I think they were embarrassed. They said, we need to make it to the next round, and they did. But it seems like they kind of got a little unlucky with injuries last year. So I don't know. I think if they're healthy, maybe it's, I just think they're going to get closer to the end goal. Maybe not dramatically closer, but I think they will get a little closer.
You said they could finish as a top 3 seed, and we talked about how you just talked about how they lost to the Knicks, and then now last year they beat the Magic in that Game 7. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna be honest with you, bro. I thought the Magic should have won that. The way they were playing that series, the way they got back into that series, they should have won that series. I mean, shouldas don't matter, but I mean that's just my thoughts. So I think the Magic will take that next step even before them, to be honest with you, which sounds crazy, but
I think it's fair to acknowledge too that like Jared Allen wasn't healthy in like most of that series.
That is true. That is true.
And I mean they were up 2-0 at that point, like when he did go down. So I don't know. I think it's tough for sure. I would still lean toward Cleveland, but I think it wouldn't be like out of the picture for Orlando to win or anything like that. Now the next one will be fun because we kind of just talked a little bit about this team, the Philadelphia 76ers, in 3 words. What are you thinking?
Oh, it's just all I need is 2 words: injury prone. I mean, injury prone, bro. Like this is crazy. This is crazy, bro. And like I said, I was fooled. I really some way was like, man, if they're healthy come playoffs, I just need them 3 out there. They got it. But injury prone, man, it's crazy.
You might only get one of them out there, Tyrese Maxey.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's funny. I have the 3 words I picked were that one SpongeBob episode where Squidward's showing his art and he's like, I call this one bold and brash, and then the guy comes in and he's like, more like belongs in the trash.
Yes.
So my words for them was old and brash. One is getting old, like this whole injury thing that has happened with a lot of the guys on this roster, but also like these players are getting older. Like, Embiid is pretty sure he's like 31 now. Paul George is like 33, 34 now. And if the injuries happen again, then the window is going to close soon. And that's unfortunate for Tyrese Maxey, who is young enough to, have part of his good years, kind of wasted like that. You know what I mean?
Honestly, I'm gonna be real, bro. I think it's more sad for Joel Embiid because
it is sad for him too.
Because I think like Tyrese could see where this is going, maybe by his next contract, and still be able to salvage up a solid NBA career as far as like winning wise. I mean, like him and Joel has had great individual career. I'm talking about winning. But for Joel, like you said, he's 31. Like that's crazy. I actually thought he was a little bit younger than that, to be honest. So him being 31, like bro, like, and the way he plays, like he's not gonna be able to keep playing like that until it's 34, 35. Like I'm gonna be honest, like the Joel Embiid's window is feeling that, like it is really, really closing. I'm gonna be honest, and I think it'd be more sad for him if he never won anything meaningful, because to me, like he's one of my favorite players to watch. Like when he's really out there and healthy, and like he's legitimately unstoppable. Like he does everything. Like when I watch him, he'll have the ball at that shoulder. He'll just be pump fake jab, and if you got to stay up on the shot. If you don't respect the shot, he's knocking it down. If you jump on the shot, he's getting to the hoop. He can put the ball on the ground. He can shoot the 3. Like his footwork's crazy. He's bigger than almost everybody. So it'll be really sad if he doesn't get a ring. Actually, that'll probably be one of the biggest disappointments. I'm talking myself into how big of a disappointment this is, which is wild. Like as I'm talking, I'm like, wow,
right?
That's crazy.
Well, speaking of disappointments, the Hornets have not been too good in recent years. But I'm not going to ask you about the Hornets. I'm going to ask you about LaMelo Ball. What 3 words are you thinking?
people don't like people don't like this man, but from what I've seen so far in these first couple years of LaMelo Ball in the NBA, I think he's extremely overrated. He's good, okay? Like, I'm not trying to say he's a bad player. He's good. We're talking about like a 6'8" guard who he has solid vision. But like the first couple years that I've seen LaMelo Ball in the league, it's just been and maybe it's due to the team that he's been on, and that plays a huge part in everything. You everyone say you play with better players, you're going to elevate, your game's going to be better. But it's like I just see just dumb decisions after dumb decisions and inefficient shot chucking. I'm gonna be honest with you, but what I do like about LaMelo is like he's always pushing the pace. He's always going. He's always running and gunning, similar to his brother. But to me, like he doesn't need to be the guy. Like he's not supposed to be the guy. Like, hey, you're the guy that we're leaning on. Like I think he needs to be in a role like Lonzo, to where it's like he's a very important player piece of this, but he's a complimentary guy. Like he's not the guy of this just because I don't know. I just in my first couple of years, and I've seen Melo in this league, it's just been a lot of immaturity, and I'm not even talking like the tattoos and off the court. Like I could care less about that. I'm talking just strictly on the court, like strictly crying about calls, strictly not getting back on defense, just doing all these little things when it's like, you know, you haven't earned the right to even be able to do that in the league. I even hate when LeBron does it. I mean, if anyone's earned the right, LeBron's earned it, but it's even annoying when he does it, and it's not even acceptable when he does it. So when LaMelo does it, it's crazy to me. So to me, I mean, I just think he has a lot of potential, but based on like the hype and like all the little kids like to, you know, see him, like he's overrated, like just game wise, like basketball wise, so far from what I've seen.
I would say, I mean, I feel that like he hasn't obviously done as much as people thought he would at this point. Although, you know, the last 2 years he's kind of dealt with some injuries, and so has his team. His team has just been very dysfunctional as well. But I do think this is a good year for the Hornets to kind of at least move a little bit in the right direction. So that's why I'm going to say comeback season brewing. I think he could be an all-star again. Will he be like a top 10, 15 player in the league? Probably not this season, but I don't know, man. I think that he will get back on the right track a little bit this season. There's no real pressure, but you know what I mean? Like at this point, there's not really much pressure on them.
That's crazy. I'm not going to lie. LaMelo Ball was an all-star. That's kind of crazy. Yeah. That's
well, that was the year they were a 43-win team. They were pretty good.
No, but that's crazy though, brother. He was an all-star with 20 points per game and eight assists, basically.
Yeah,
I feel like if I scrub through all these all-star games, I feel like I could find some snubs that had some better numbers than that. But I guess numbers aren't black and white. But I mean, shout out LaMelo though. Shout out LaMelo.
I don't know. I think that was the year that the guard play in the East was pretty weak. I know like weak. Fred VanVleet made it and Garland made it that year. Like not to say those guys aren't caliber those seasons, but just to make it seem like there's other guys who haven't really made it since, you know.
Yeah.
Now the fourth one I'm gonna ask you, it is a Laker, Bronny James.
Because I know what to say, but I want to make sure I say the perfect 3 words because I can't go over 3.
I think I have the perfect 3 words on this.
You okay? You can go first. Go ahead, brother.
My 3 words for Bronny James: the Los Angeles Shaker.
What makes you say the Los Angeles Shaker?
Well, I mean, it is a pun on, you know, Los Angeles Lakers, but I said Los Angeles Shaker because I just feel like he's very nervous. You can tell. I don't know if you saw that clip the other day where LeBron was like telling him like, you know, just go out there, play your game. You're gonna make mistakes and stuff like that. Like if you were looking at him, like you could kind of like get the idea like this dude is nervous. Like every time he steps on the floor, like it's just, you know, it seems like just bad like voodoo like for the team or whatever it would be. You know what I mean? So I don't know. And I mean, you even mentioned the 7-0 run yesterday. The preseason didn't look great aside from the one game, but no one played in that game and they got blown out. So it's like, I don't know. It's a work in progress, and will it work? Probably not to how people anticipate, you know what I mean? So that's why I said that. But what do you think?
I like it. Look, this is what I came up with right here.
Mm.
Undeserved, but nepotism. And now here's what I'm gonna say. So look,
Mm-hmm.
I think it's clear. Like it's clear he's not an NBA level talent. And I'm not bagging him. Like literally 99% of the world is not NBA level talent, and he's better than 99% of the world as well too. So like I want people to understand that. I'm not bagging on him, but like he's not an NBA level talent. And if he wasn't LeBron's son, he probably would have spent some more years in college, developing his game. But the reason why I say but is because he is LeBron James' son. And LeBron James does happen to be, no matter how much you love him or hate him, at least a top 3 player of all time who's just done insane stuff for this game. And right now on the Los Angeles Lakers, he is one of the most important players. And if you look all around the league, bro, when you're good, when you're one of the most important players on your teams, you do something wrong, the team's gonna bat an eye. They gonna act like they didn't see it. They're gonna do whatever it takes to try to keep their name good, but also not kill you on the way and appease to your needs, right? Because like, bro, like you could look at all these teams around the league. They all got one guy who, whether we know it or not, the team is appeasing to their needs. And I don't think that I think LeBron James is selfish for even telling the Lakers to draft Bronny, because he knows that Bronny's not an NBA level player. I know he knows it. I know it's his son. So I'm not saying he's going to say it, because one thing that I support is putting your kids on. Like I've never once hated on LeBron for this. Like I have a daughter, and when I have a chance to put my daughter on, I'm putting my daughter on, and I could care less what the world got to say. If y'all got to hate on it, well, should have been my daughter, should have been my son. And so sucks for you that you're not. And I hope that your parent could do it. Right. So it's like, I'm not hating on that. But there's no way that LeBron thinks that his son is an NBA level player. So I think he knows that. So I say all that to say it's like he's undeserving out there. Like he shouldn't be out there talent wise. But bro, like his dad is LeBron. It happened to Chris Smith, J.R. Smith's brother. It happened to Giannis. Then happened to Thanasis, Giannis's brother. Happened to freaking I'm blanking on the guy's name. That was in the basketball president of operations on the Hawks. Oh, Travis Schlenk. He freaking put on the entire Hawks team and then got fired because the owner's son turned 18 and he made his son the president of basketball operations after this man just built up the entire Trae Young, John Collins, and DeAndre Hunter Hawks team. Like, you know what I'm saying? So there's other nepotism examples in the league, and nobody's ever cried about it then. So now that it's LeBron, everybody wants to cry about it. In my opinion, it's like, if you didn't cry about it then, I don't want to hear you cry about it now. It's knowing he's undeserving, but shit, that's life. Life is unfair sometimes.
Yeah, I think maybe his also gets more attention. I mean, one, because like LeBron's just more notable than like some of those guys you mentioned, but also like it's been like kind of something that's been alluded to since, what was it, like 2017 or 18 when LeBron said he wanted to play with Bronny like first or something like that. So
yeah,
I think that's also a part of it as well. The last one I have on here though, it's not even not a player. Well, I guess it is some former players, but it's like an actual thing. And so the last one I have on here is inside the NBA.
I like inside the NBA. So, but there you go. Actually, those are my words. I'm gonna go. I like inside the NBA. Oh, actually, no, that's more.
You could say
words.
I like it.
I like it. I like it. I like it. I'm gonna be honest. I like it. And the only reason why I'm gonna go with those words is because those were literally the first 3 words that came out of my mouth. Like, I like it. I don't love it, but I like it.
I think for my 3 words, I put on here video home system, which stands for VHS. The reason I've said that is because I feel like there's a lot of moments, even the more recent moments, that almost feel like you could watch it back and it has like the feel of like you're watching a VHS tape, which I don't like. Obviously nowadays, like it seems like there's so much like fake in the world, you know, like there's so much stuff going on that's like you know, like it just seems like society isn't quite like what it used to be. This is what like people say all the time. So like I just feel like with them, like no matter if you're watching a show that just aired the other day or if you're watching it from like 25 years ago or so when it started, like it still feels like it has like the same humor and everything like that. You know what I mean? So that's why I said that. I feel like it's like a feel good vibe, and yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens with them and their farewell tour.
Man, they're trying to work out with the whole Amazon thing, right?
Yeah, well, I guess farewell tour with TNT that we know of so far, but
yeah. Well, good shout out to them. Good luck for them, I guess, in that journey.
Yes, sir.
Cut me a check.
Yes, sir. So now we can move on to, we got one more little topic here. It'll be brief, and then we got the mini game. So this is something I'm kind of going to do like all season long. It's called the Honor of the Week. And, you know, mostly this show is based on like the NBA Today, but you know me being the weird historian that I am.
Historian.
So I feel like every episode we got to honor at least one guy who, you know, is a former player. And so I specifically chose people that have like close birthdays toward like the show days. So I believe this guy's birthday, I think it might be on Friday of this week. It is Saturday of this week. But the honor of the week, I'm gonna give you 1 minute. You can just talk as much as you like about this guy. Any fond memories you have. The player is Monta Ellis.
Monta Ellis. I'm actually very happy you chose Monta Ellis, bro. So I actually met Monta Ellis at a Dave & Buster's when I was like 7 years old. And it was the craziest thing because I've loved basketball like literally my entire life. And it's crazy to me, y'all. And I remember I was with my friend and my friend's family. And I saw Monta Ellis and I told my entire friend's family that's Monta Ellis. And nobody cared but me. And I remember like walking up to Monta and asking for a picture. And he took a picture of me. And I wish I could still find a picture. It used to be like on my Facebook. I don't know my Facebook login anymore. But Monta Ellis, legend, bro. Like, especially me being, I mean, like I live in the Bay Area. I'm not from the Bay Area, but I live in the Bay Area. So I remember his Warrior days, tatted up like crazy. Like man, he used to be flying to the. He's the original John Morant. He's the original John Morant. Has it been a minute?
It has been a minute exactly. Yes.
Okay. Yeah, he's the original John for sure.
Right on the nose. Yeah, I like that you said that. Yeah, the tattoos are definitely iconic, and it's funny too that you know, obviously you said you're from the Bay Area, obviously, and then you know, seeing him there, and then he went to Milwaukee. But when he went to Milwaukee, that's when I actually got to see him play like a few times. I've probably seen Monta Ellis play in person more than like just about any other player. Or like one of the most of any player out there, because I went to a few games like in 2012, 2013 when he was on the Bucks, and yeah, man, he was just fun to watch. Definitely seemed like a chill dude. One of the last players to come out of high school as well so far. Yeah. So yeah, I think should have been an all-star a few years, but like nonetheless, still a legend. And I guess I made a pretty good choice because I didn't know you had quite a personal connection there with him. So
yes,
that's pretty good.
He probably still remembers me. I'm just kidding.
Yes, sir. So I guess we are on to close the show with the mini game. Now this is kind of the fun part because I have not done the mini game yet this season, so everyone will be getting the first like hear of like what this season is. And so, as you know, my favorite NBA player about a month ago retired.
Yes.
So this season, I'm honoring him. We are doing Derrick Rose trivia. It is called the Rose Gold Trivia Minigame.
I like that. I like that.
Yes, sir. There's going to be 5 questions. Now, the first question and the last question are each worth, 10 points. You could either get all 10 or get 0. You'll only have one chance to answer. It's like an all or nothing. The second, third, and fourth question, depending on like what answer you give me, depending on how many away you are from that, like let's say you're 1 thing away from it, you will get 9 points. If you're 2 things away from it, you get 8 points. 3 away, 7 points. If you're more than 10 things away from it, you will unfortunately get 0 points. So,
okay.
Make sense?
Makes sense.
Alrighty, so I got 5 questions for you here. The first one should be pretty easy. The last one is a little bit more difficult for the exact ones. But the first one I'm going to ask you, this is a 10-pointer. It's all or nothing. Where did Derrick Rose go to college?
Memphis.
Yes, sir. He got that right on the nose. So that is an easy 10-pointer right there.
Boom, 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 boom.
Starting off hot. Now, this next one's going to be a little interesting because you might think about it a little bit, but I feel like it's going to be hard to know exactly what it is. So the second one is, Derrick Rose is one of how many players to be the best player on the best record in the NBA for multiple seasons?
He's one of how many players to be the best player on the best record for multiple seasons?
Yes, because he did it in 2010-11 and 11-12. How many players have done that in total that he's in that club for?
NBA history?
NBA history.
Damn. All right.
Well, and I guess it does help out that, to do it for multiple seasons, we're almost at about 80 seasons in history, so it can't be more than 40. But you also know there might be some years where one guy did it and that was it. So,
yeah, for multiple seasons. So multiple is anything more than 2, right? We're considering multiple anything more than 2.
Correct.
I definitely don't think it's as high as 40. I'm gonna be honest. That's crazy.
Yeah, that would be like every season.
Yeah, that'd be kind of crazy. I think it's the number's relatively low. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm gonna go with 5.
So you're going with 5?
Yeah.
Okay. So
I think that's even crazy, to be honest.
The correct answer was 13.
Oh, wow.
So you will still get 2 points for that because you were 8 away. So
wow.
One second. I'm just marking your guess in here. So you guessed 5 players, and I'll tell you which players have done it as well. So first person to do it was George Mikan, very long ago. Bill Russell, Wilt Chamberlain, Kareem, Dave Cowens, which could be a little bit more up for debate, but I did base it off of their regular season performances because one could argue John Havlicek was the better player. Larry Bird, Magic Johnson, Michael Jordan, Tim Duncan, LeBron, Steph, and Giannis, along with D Rose.
Wow.
So pretty elite company.
Yeah, I was ain't gonna lie, I was thinking of that back end. Like I wasn't really thinking of that front end people that you mentioned, to be honest with you. I should have for sure. But all right.
So
no, I like that.
It's still not bad. So you did get 2 points for that one because you were 8 away. Now the third one, again, this is one that you could get part of the points for depending on how close you are. So how many times did a D Rose teammate have a full season averaging 20 points per game, 20 plus points per game? And so just to clarify, what I mean by like full season, I mean just all the games they played throughout that season, even if they technically didn't qualify for like end of
So basically, how many times did he have a teammate that averaged 20 points per game throughout the season?
Yes.
More than 20 points per game throughout the season?
Yes, even if their season was like less than half the season.
Okay. I see what you're saying. Then that number is going to be kind of high. Then I think that number would be like 7.
You got 7.
Yeah.
Okay, so it was actually 16.
Damn, bro.
Yeah. There were a lot that didn't technically like qualify that fit under that category though. So Ben Gordon did it once. Carmelo Anthony, LeBron technically counts with the Cleveland year.
Oh my God, bruh. Man, I'm tripping, but I didn't even think of his Cavs days.
Cat, Jeremy Grant technically counts with the Pistons. RJ Barrett, Jalen Brunson, Desmond Bain, Jaren Jackson, and Ja technically count as well. And then the only 2 that have done it 3 times with him are Julius Randle and Jimmy Butler.
Okay. That
was a bit tough.
All right.
So player-wise, there was, I believe, 12, but obviously some did multiple times. All right. So the fourth one, I feel like this one you might get a little bit more points on just because of where his career was. But we'll see if you can get it exact or not. So number 4, what year did Derrick Rose suffer the orbital fracture?
The one that we all know about.
No, not the ACL or anything. It was an orbital fracture, so it was in his face. Yeah. So
when he had the mask, and he was getting all those ads with the mask, right?
Yes.
Okay.
What year was that?
Okay, so I know he had that high top. I know because I know he had that high top at that time. That was it. If I'm not mistaken, that was his Cavs days. I'm gonna be honest with you. So let me go 2015. 2015.
You guess 2015?
Yeah.
So that is correct. You got it, 2015.
Let's go. That was his Cavs days, right? Yeah.
That actually, though, wasn't his Cavs days.
It wasn't. No, really?
He was on the Cavs in 2017-18. Started the year. 2015, there was like his start of his last full season with the Bulls.
Okay, so. But yeah, I do remember. I do remember he had a high top for sure. I think he for sure had a high top. I remember that around that time. But
yeah,
all right, I'm glad I got that one. Hell yeah.
With the I think with the Cavs, that's when he started doing the dreads at first.
Yeah.
So, all right. So the last one. Now this one's gonna be a harder hit or miss one. It's either all or nothing.
Okay.
Which player said, and I quote exactly, "D Rose was something special, man. When he came in, I was like, whoa, this dude is from another planet."
You got me on this one, brother.
The last one's supposed to be tough, so.
You got me on this one, brother. I'm going to just say LeBron. I don't know.
You're saying LeBron?
Yeah.
That is a solid guess, but it is not LeBron. Correct answer was actually someone that D Rose embarrassed at one point. It was Goran Dragic.
So, I would have never got that. I'm gonna be honest. We would have been here all day, brother.
Yeah. So it was intended to be like an impossible level one. So you did get the first one right. You got 10 points for that. You got 10 points for the fourth one as well, and you got 2 points for number 2, and then you got 1 point for number 3. So in total, you got 23 points. Pretty solid. And you answered 4 of the 5 and got some points on that. How do you think you did?
I think I did good. I should have took into account some more of D Rose's teammates for that 20 points per game one, and the other one because it was NBA history. But yeah, I think I did solid though. I think it is solid. Well, if it makes you feel any better, you are leading right now. Although you're also... I'm kind of feeling like Bronny because people can make fun of Bronny, but Bronny's undefeated in the NBA right now. Okay, however, if you want to look at it.
Although you are also at the bottom, well, you're on both sides.
It's all about perspective, right?
Full, half
Exactly, brother.
But no, so we'll see how anyone else can do on that. But overall, I mean, I think it was a pretty fun show. Hopefully you guys enjoyed, and thank you guys for watching. You got any final thoughts before we wrap it up?
Nope, no final thoughts. I appreciate you, my brother, for having me on. For everybody out there watching, make sure y'all show love to Garrett, and because he do so much for all y'all here at the Super Mario Hoops channel. And then as far as me, if y'all want to show some love to me, I appreciate it. I got 2 channels y'all can check me out at. ClutchTalk. It's on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. That's a NBA talk show, dropping 2 episodes per week. And then I got Lakers Corner, which is because I'm in the corner, Lakers fan. Got all my Lakers stuff go right here, and that's just on YouTube. And I got basically all type of Lakers content, game recaps, live streams after games, post games, and all that. But besides that, I mean, Garrett, my boy, I appreciate the invite.
I learned about what Lakers Corner actually referred to last time we collabed. But yeah, you guys can go check them out down below. I'm glad you could join me on this episode because I think it gives a good perspective on like how the season's going to be, at least not just the NBA season, but how Bullony basketball season is going to be. And I think it's going to be an interesting one. You know, we'll try and mix things up here and there and try to make it a cool season. So you guys will have to stay tuned. If you haven't already, subscribe down below. And once again, check out my guy John at ClutchTalk and Lakers Corner. I'll have the links down below. So again, hopefully you guys enjoyed. Thank you guys for watching, and we're out. Peace.